Hello, everyone. You are listening to WRPI Troy, and this is Pick It Up, as always, every week. And this is the home of ska and punk rock here on WRPI Troy, and I'm your host, The Mav. I am very, very, very excited for this week here today. So we have in studio, right here sitting in front of me, we have the band Girth Control, local band Girth Control here, and we're going to do an interview. We'll take the whole hour. We'll see. We'll, go crazy with it. So I'll turn your guys' mics on real quick. There we go. If everybody can go around and kind of introduce themselves and what they play in the band.
All right. Hey, thanks for having us, Mav.
No problem.
You had a great radio voice. Nice
Thank you. That's what I hear. So thank you.
Jay, I play guitar and sing lead vocals in Girth Control.
And I'm Mark. I play the drums and also sing lead vocals in Girth Control.
And I am Bob. I play bass and also sing lead vocals in Girth Control.
Amazing. That's awesome. So, from my understanding, you guys, this is not your first musical venture together. Can you guys kind of walk us through the history of Girth Control and how you guys kind of got to know each other?
Yeah, we got a lot of history. So Bob and I go back to like 2005-ish.
Yep.
2006.
Yep.
We were in a band called Public Access that I started in high school.
Okay.
And Bob joined the band a couple years in.
Local ska punk legends.
Another local
Okay.
ska punk
I can
band.
say because I wasn't in Public Access.
That's what we like
and
to
Jay's
hear.
too humble
Okay.
to say local ska punk legends. Ska core.
Ska core. It was,
More ska
It was
core.
pretty core,
More core than
by the
punk.
end.
But
yeah.
anyway, go ahead. Jay,
Okay.
sorry.
Sure.
I'm here to toot your horn.
Yeah, no, thanks.
It's a ska pun.
So yeah, we are on top of our game today. We did that band till about 3 years. I played in that band with Bob. After that band broke up, we started another band with some of the folks from Public Access. We're doing more of a country punk sort of thing called the Slaughterhouse Chorus, and that's where we found Mark. And Mark was the best ever Craigslist find. We actually found him on Craigslist, but
True.
I think we found out late in the game that you were going to audition for Public Access before we broke up.
I was.
And,
And I'm glad I didn't because I think that I don't think I was good enough. I don't think I would have been able to pull it off at the time, but I
Okay.
really wanted to.
Those extra few months or years, however long
Yeah,
it
it was a couple. It was
good
like a
enough.
couple
Okay.
years, and I was like, I improved a lot in that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really glad that I didn't because then you guys wouldn't have. You would have been like, nah, we're not gonna have that guy in Slaughterhouse Square. It wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it worked out really well.
Yeah.
I was bummed
it all
at the
worked
time.
out
I remember I was
perfectly,
like, I think I actually found emails in my way back in my emails from me emailing you about Public Access.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did Slaughterhouse for a few years before Bob came back into the fold. So we had a different bass player throughout that band, and he left, and Bob was available again. He was back in town. He was in New York for school. So Bob came back around, and did a few years of Slaughterhouse with this group, and Girth Control kind of came out of that, sort of as a side project to begin with. But
Okay.
Yeah, our singer, Chris, who was the singer in Public Access and the singer in Slaughterhouse, he had just started a business or took over a business, and he was pretty stressed out and just trying to figure out all that stuff. So we had a show coming up in my basement where I used to live, which is called the Shred Shack on Quail Street. And we had a show coming up with our friends from Syracuse, Bridge Under Fire, and Chris was like, I can't do this show. We had 3 weeks until the show, and we were like, well, we still want to do the show. And it's actually funny. In my Facebook memories yesterday was a message a comment from Derek from way back in the day that was like, oh, can't wait to see Girth Control, because when we started Slaughterhouse, we were trying to come up with a name.
Okay.
And Girth Control was one of the names that I came up with back then in 2009, but it was way too dumb for that band. So I was like, I'm going to hold on to that.
yeah.
So
Okay.
we had 3 weeks till this show in my basement, and we said we're going to play the show anyway, and we're going to do 3 covers. We're going to write 3 songs in 3 weeks, and we're going to call it Girth Control, and we're all going to sing because none of us can sing, so we're all going to sing.
Gotcha.
And
so the name was there any story behind that, or just you were like, that's funny?
I was driving through Scotia, and there was a billboard that said birth control, and I just thought girth control, and there's no more to it than
All
that.
right, that's what I expected.
People like to think that there's more to it than that, or that it's like more of an innuendo or anything like that. And it's really just as dumb as it could be.
Okay.
No meaning, no story.
Awesome. So, do you remember what the 3 covers you guys were playing at that first show? Do you remember what they were?
Yeah, Islands by Suicide Machines.
Okay.
Yelling in My Ear.
Yelling in My Ear by
Bob Ivy. And last one's at a Liberty City.
Yeah.
By Les and Jake. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Listeners to this show, I don't know if those particular songs, but those 3 bands definitely featured themselves here. So
Nice.
3 of the best.
You're welcome. You're welcome here. You're home. So that's awesome. So yeah, definitely. Do you expect to be here? What was that? 9 years later?
Yeah, this is year 10 of Girth Control. It's wild.
The first song that we wrote was a song called Girth Control. And in the song is the lyric first show, last show.
Okay.
Because that was what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
We were like, we're gonna play this one show. It's going to be like just whatever. But we had so much fun doing it. And it went way better than we thought it could. It was like this. We were like, actually, can we do this? And now we've written we're at 50 something songs.
Awesome.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. So me sitting here as someone who hosts a ska punk radio show. So I've seen you guys a couple of times. Excellent shows, by the way. And the first show I saw you guys at was No Fun, the beginning of the summer, right?
Nice.
May 18th, right? It was. I think it was on Reddit. It was someone's like, or I think it was probably you, Jay, posted it.
Nice.
It was like, ska punk night at No Fun, and I was like, well, I host a ska punk radio show. I have to go to that, right? And so there was 4 bands.
I feel like Bob's always the one.
Yeah, Bob's usually the Reddit guy.
Bob's the
Okay, maybe
it's actually paid off.
Awesome.
It's actually paid off many times.
Yeah, exactly. So keep doing that. I
Yeah,
guess.
seriously.
So there was 4 bands there, right? We had Uncle Frank Says No.
Yeah.
Boss's Daughter, Hans Gruber and the Diehards, and then the lovely Girth Control at the end there. And I was like, wow, that was awesome and very fun. And so at the end of that show, I was like, let me buy a t-shirt. Happens to be the one I'm wearing right now.
Beautiful shirt.
Too many dudes t-shirt. And what was funny was I think, Bob, you were at the merch area, and you were like, hey, do you want this? And you handed me the Shorter, Faster, Dumber LP, right? And I was like, how much? And you were like, just take it. And I was just like, cool. And it was funny. I was walking to my car and I was like, that is like the perfect reason why you do stuff like that as a band, is because you didn't know I was the host of a radio show.
There you go.
And a week later, ripped all 8 minutes of that thing. So, yeah.
Perfect.
So that's,
Great.
We're horrible businessmen.
Yeah.
it worked out.
Yeah,
so
that's
sometimes you gotta, spend $1 to make $1. Is that
Or
what they say?
are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I feel like every show we just end up, we're just like, just take it. I don't know.
Well, those records are long paid off, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Once we broke even on those, we were like,
Awesome. Yeah, that was great. So the next show was July 1st, Built for Barbecue Hangar on the Hudson show.
Nice. Great.
For July 4th. And there's a bunch of bands: Turf and Turf, Pinstripe Melee, The Abysmals, Coffin Salesman, Henry's Rifle. Of course, you guys, Girth Control. That was a lot of fun. A lot of bands. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
What is Built for Barbecue? Is that you guys? Like, what? Explain what that is.
It's less of a thing now than it was.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was sort of this collective. It continues, but it's a collective of bands. It was really something that we went all in on, or whole hog into during the days of the Slaughterhouse Chorus.
Okay.
We found a bunch of just great like-minded friends. Henry's Rifle being one of them. That may be the only one that's still around. The Pistol Whips were a great one, who don't exist anymore. Charm Boy, who have played a couple of the recent shows. So just the idea of it's a group of bands. We all are friends. We want to help each other out. Let's do our best to, book each other's bands, help record each other, help do artwork for each other. So just getting this nice, crew of people together that can all sort of support and help one another out. So
yeah, I feel like the idea was like kind of to be like a stamp of approval kind of thing.
That's
More
true.
so it was like like not quite a record label, not quite a promoter, not. It's just like it was just a way of being like we all fall under this umbrella of people who hang out at Valentine's and play shows together. And we put out a couple comps too, a couple compilations that we had the appetizer and we had the entree. Dessert never came out, but
there's still time.
There's still time.
Still time.
Do we it's less active than it used to be, because we're less active than we used to be because we're older now. But you know, we still slap the name on stuff and it's still carry on some of the traditions like the Halloween show and the 4th of July. Those were kind of like our shows that we would do like every year. So it just kind of became, and it's, you know, we still use that name so that it's like we're still doing it, guys.
Okay.
You know? Just because we're in our mid-30s doesn't mean we can't party.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Doesn't mean we can't rock.
Yeah, eat some barbecue on the back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that answers my question. Okay, that's very good. The next was middle of July when you guys opened for Big D and the Kids Table.
Oh,
that was cool.
That was a great one.
That was a lot of fun because I was like, wow, I've heard of, outside of, you know, the radio stuff, you know, heard of Big D and the Kids Table. Like, this is crazy. Like, was that the biggest band you guys have opened for? Or biggest quote? What does that even mean? But like, how was that opening for them? I guess was that cool? I guess.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was very cool.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I saw Big D play to like 300 people packed upstairs Valentine's when I was 16 years old. Those guys have been doing it forever.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you think of ska punk and like, you know, the Northeast regional ska punk bands who've been doing it forever, Big D's right up there on the top of the list. So I thought that was really cool. They're definitely one of the biggest. It's them.
The Mephistopheles show was also really good.
Yeah,
that was
that
another
was
one
a
in
good
Empire
one.
Underground.
Okay.
That was, yeah.
Doyle.
We opened for Doyle from the Misfits. Which
That wasn't a big show.
cool.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a big show, but it was A,
Great
really
show.
cool, and B, also hilarious because it's just like, you know, I don't think Doyle himself watched us, but the idea of Doyle, he's in Northern Lights lifting weights beforehand and like, you know, putting on his black makeup and stuff, and then here comes us just like you know, goofy guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Those are the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, the Big D, I just thought of this. Me and Jeff, one time, me and my cousin Jeff, who we have many songs about.
Jeff is your cousin?
Yeah, my cousin
That's
Jeff.
crazy. Okay. I know that. Okay, that's awesome.
So we used to, we would stay at he would come over to my dad's house when we were like 12, 13, and we would stay up all night just for no reason. We would just stay up all night listening to White Zombie and playing video games and stuff. And then our goal was always to make it till Kmart opened up the street. So we'd walk like half a mile to Kmart and get a Slurpee. Like, that was like our goal. Like, you're 12, 13, like, you know. And one time we were walking down the street and there was a pin on the ground. And it was a Big D and the Kids Table pin. And I picked it up. I don't know. I probably still have it somewhere because I never throw anything away. But I was like, Big D and the Kids Table. That sounds really cool.
It was fate.
Dude.
That's wild. Yeah.
Awesome. Then the last show, the most recent one I saw was December 14th at Empire Underground when you opened for Wilhelm Scream.
Oh, yeah.
I know, Mark, you're a big fan of them, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that during your guys' set. So, I mean, kind of talked about it a second ago, but what was your, because you're a big fan, right? You know, you talked about that. What was like your reaction to being like, oh my gosh, we get to open for this band that, you know, is so important to me?
It's cooler than I ever could have imagined. That's a band that I found out about when I was probably 14 or 15 years old, something like that, maybe 15 or 16, I guess probably, but around 2004, something like that. And I mean, I have been listening to them since then. You know, traveled to go see them. Me and Jeff last year went to Massachusetts to go see them. And and when that, you know, it's cool that we're now at the point where it's like a cool band is coming and it's like, can we get on this show? Like, is that actually a possibility? And having it be a possibility is like really insane because this was just supposed to be like one show in my basement.
It was never supposed to make
9
it out
years
of the
ago,
basement.
and now and the whole point of the band was always to reconnect with that same youthful bright-eyed kind of optimism of when you're in like your first band and you're like these guys experience that in public access. They're in their first band, they're like 15, 16, 17 years old. They're opening these awesome shows and doing all this cool stuff, and it's like, oh wow, we can do anything if we just put our minds to it. But then as you get older and maybe stuff doesn't happen quite the way that you wanted or you expected, or real life comes in, you have to like actually work and make money and things like that.
All that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, go to school and stuff, which is totally cool, and everyone should totally go to school all the time. But you get a little like jaded kind of, and you can get kind of down on the whole thing. And so I think stuff like in this past year, like the Big D show, the Mephistopheles show, the Big D show, and the Wilhelm Scream show, especially for me personally, was like, it just helps to keep that, that connection to our youth and our whole purpose of doing this, which is just be ourselves, have fun, believe in ourselves and our ability to be in a band and keep doing it, even though it's, it doesn't actually serve any like real purpose.
Yeah.
But we're not making money off this.
But it does, because it's like, it's just like, it's something that you can't explain. It's something that you can't measure. It's something that's just like so important to us. And being able to open for that band and, be able to ramble on stage about how much I love them and how much I loved them when I was a kid and how much their shows meant to me and stuff. And about the time when, the singer handed me the microphone at the first time I saw them when I was like 16 years old, and then have them play that song at the end of the show and, be able to talk to those guys afterwards and just have them be cool and have the show go well. I mean, it just means everything.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that, kind of blend that you guys have of like goofiness and sincerity, like, because I was at that show, and your little monologue about how much they meant to you and all that kind of stuff, and getting the microphone, singing to this, like all that stuff, like it's just really cool hearing right after singing about drinking beer, you're like, oh, this is like a really serious thing and like really meaningful and impactful, and it's like I love that how that dichotomy exists within itself, because I try to do that with this show as well, like have a song where Mike Park is singing about institutional racism, and the next song he's singing the ABCs with Sean Burnett and Jeff Rosenstock, it's the I call it the musical whiplash of ska and punk music is like crazy, and I just love how it that's possible in this scene, I guess.
Yeah, man, I think that's what brought us all to ska and punk to begin with, right? Bands like the Suicide Machines and Op Ivy and NoFX that were like really funny sometimes, but also very, very serious.
Yeah.
And that's, like that's how I know anything about any sort of politics. Like came into all of it through punk rock. Like it
exactly
helped me become a better person, but there's also a lot of funny songs that just made me laugh and made me feel good. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a nice thing.
Yeah. This show features, hot take political commentary every once in a while. So,
we're certainly not that band.
Yeah, we're not. We won't get into that. Don't worry. I'm not gonna, jump you with a question about some, political event, or anything. Don't worry.
I don't think the world needs any political views from Girth Control.
Definitely not.
So we avoid that. But it's the same idea. It's like you can be honest and you can be you can be real and say things from the heart, and you can also be funny and just try to make your friends laugh.
I think that's like the important thing is, I think as you get older and you're creating art and you're trying to be something, you're trying to make your dream that you always had happen of playing music and having people like it. All you want is for people to take you seriously, because your entire life people have told you that it's stupid. And you got to get a different. You can't think that you're going to do that with your life. You can't think you're going to play music with your life. That's so stupid. And so you just want to be serious. You just want people to know, no, I'm really good at this, and I try really hard. And like, look at these lyrics, look at this music. Like we worked so hard on this, and like we're serious. And then the freedom of going, that's all well and good, but like the three of us are, we can do that stuff, but we are genuinely goofy, like funny. We're always just goofing around and having a good time. It's like the most important thing with music is being yourself. And so it's like realizing like, well, we're kind of just goofy guys who like eating pizza. And like, sometimes like, you know, I'm an emotional guy and I'm a sensitive guy. So like, I'm not going to shy away from that kind of stuff either.
Yeah.
You know, life scares me, but I love eating Doritos and getting drunk. Like, you know, like there's these things there is no like, you know, we're just keeping it real, trying to connect with people by being ourselves. That's what punk's all about. That's what, to me, is like what makes me like punk music, is just like, these guys are, you know, being themselves. It's the power of the whole thing.
Yeah, I totally love that. Yeah, and to get back to that show now,
Sure.
that was as well the your announcement for the new album, right? Was at that show.
Yep.
And so we'll the reason why you guys are here, we'll jump right into it. So you got a new album coming out. We can play a song from that in a second. So the new album's called Life's Too Short for Girth Control, right? You want to just walk us through just what's cool about it, you know, what you're excited for people to hear about the new album?
We got a little bit of old Girth Control. We got a little bit of some stuff I can't believe we even recorded. But it was a magical journey we went on. It happened during the, the deepest parts of COVID, and I think it kind of kept us all sane during that. Maybe felt like it dragged out a little bit too long, but we've also never recorded 25 songs before. So I'm really proud of it. I think we're all really proud of it. It's a wild ride.
Yeah. The inspiration, the general concept of it was like, so our first album is called What Got You Stoked in the First Place. It's a live album. We thought it was funny. We were like, that's really funny. You put out your first album, it's a live album. Nobody ever does that. So we were like, what? We knew that conceptually going into it. So we were like, a live album's like a greatest hits. So we're gonna have to write like the 10 greatest songs. Like it has to be presented as if it's our greatest hits, as if we've always existed. So that was like the goal of What's Got You Stoked in the first place. Then the next album, we were like, it'd be really funny to do a full length on a 7-inch. So 14 songs on a 7-inch. We loved short music for short people, Fat Records compilation, which is all 30-second songs. So we were like, we do our own version of that. And that's where we kind of started like, because that compilation kind of goes all over the place. So we're like, well, let's do like different kinds of songs. We don't have to stick like kind of in ska punk. We can do like weird songs. And then the idea for this one, just because we didn't want to do a normal album, the next one we might. but the idea for this one was double LP. So exploring all those reaches of like all the great double LPs of like, and not so great double LPs, but where they kind of go places you don't expect them to, and you kind of maybe places that you're like, I don't know if they really pulled this off.
Right.
This is like weird. But I will say that I think that we did 25 songs, and I think that they're all really awesome. And a majority of them are like ska punk songs, but then other ones are like almost classic rocky, or like, I mean, but we're just yelling over it. It's like, it's all punk. Like, it's all punk in a broad sense. It's not a lot. Not all of it is ska, but I would say all of it is punk.
It's pretty punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were, double albums, but we were really thinking of like Nimrod by Green Day.
Yeah. Okay.
Life Won't Wait by Rancid. Neither of which is really technically a double album,
but they're really long.
But they are a double album.
Quite long.
It's like, it's that concept of, this is really long. It's all over the place. You can go anywhere with it. It's like its own little world. And I think we achieved it. Pretty proud of where we landed.
25 songs. It's like, I mean, it's still, is it less than 45 minutes long?
It's about 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes.
It just fits on one LP.
Yeah.
Just barely fits on one
LP.
LP.
And of course we were going to put it on one of those thick double CDs. That was the goal. But then when someone wanted to press it, and we couldn't make them put it on 2 LPs because it costs way more money. So we were like, yeah, we'll just put it on 1 LP, even though it's conceptually a double LP.
Okay.
It's conceptually a double CD.
Yeah,
right.
Conceptually an unnecessarily thick double CD. That's true.
Maybe one day we'll do the special edition on double CD.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that. I'm waiting for that. All right. So what we'll do is we'll play a song from Life's Too Short for Girth Control. This is Work Shirts. This one's coming out next Tuesday as a single,
yeah.
right? All right, so we'll just get right into it.
Work shirts, all I ever seem to wear it. Work shirts, fold my laundry, all it is it. Work shirts, I don't know who I am anymore. Whoa, whoa. Get home after work and I'm so tired and defeated. Get high enough I can pretend that life has got a meaning. Sit around in pajamas watching TV for 6 hours or so. I never leave the house, so I'm never making laundry. Might as well bring all my cool bitches to the Salvation Army. Got too fat to fit into all my favorite jeans anyway. Hey, let's gather dust. This is boots of house slippers. Hey, babe, do you think you can pass me the clicker? Gotta turn the subtitles on to hear over my chewing. Work shirts, all I ever seem to wear it. Work shirts, fold my laundry, all it is. Work shirts, I don't know who I am anymore. Work shirts, all in my drawers, all it is. Work shirts, all I ever seem to wear it. Work shirts, guess I'm not as cool as I was before.
Alrighty, so that was Work Shirts by Girth Control. So, walk me through that.
First off, so you came to the. Is that when we did the ZZ Top thing, or am I like totally mixing up years?
No, it was a Halloween show.
remember.
We
Oh,
did
that was a
ZZ
Halloween
Top.
show.
Yeah.
What did we do? Did we do something weird at this 4th of July show?
I think it was the
Turf and Turf
George Thorogood
Yeah.
song we did, I think.
Oh yeah, get
Similar-
a haircut. Yeah, we
similar
did get a
idea,
haircut.
yeah.
That's right. Okay, all right. So, but that has the little ZZ Top thing at the end. But yeah, I keep getting that mixed up. Yeah, George Thorogood. So Work Shirts. I believe that it was during the whole quarantine thing, and I was folding laundry, and I just thought of the lyrics to that song.
Okay.
I was just thinking about it. I was just folding laundry and thinking about how all I ever seem to wear is work shirts, and how I don't do anything cool, and I don't know who I am anymore, and I don't know. I kind of maybe demoed it out with some drums and vocals, and then brought it to practice, and we ripped it. And these guys said, "Okay."
That's a
Add to the
song.
list.
It's a very different kind of song for Girth Control, but it checks all the boxes of, it's about not liking going to work. It has a little bit of that existential crisis type vibe, but also it's funny. And all three of us agreed that it was good. We like this, so that's all it takes, man.
And Mark went on tour once with Electric Six in his other band, Northern Faces. And that's what I think of when I hear that song.
You know what,
I
dude?
think of,
Yeah.
I
You
think of
never
like
even-
Fire in the
You
Disco.
never even told me that. That's probably exactly where that's
100% what I was thinking when you brought that in.
1,000,000% that came into like I didn't mean for that, and I
Yeah.
never even thought about that. And until but now that you say that, that is 1,000% what happened, because I couldn't figure out. I'm like, where's, we did
Where
that.
did this come from?
Where did this come from? And we were doing the vocals, and I was like, I feel like I gotta sing it wackier. I feel like we tried to do it, and it was like wasn't really working. And I was like, I feel like I gotta sing it like zany, or like what, like the B-52s or something. You know what I mean? I was like, or like. I really like a band called Daughters, who's like a weird, metal kind of band.
Okay.
And he does like this sing talking thing, and I'm like, but really, now that you mention it, it's really just more Electric Six than anything.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Great. Cool. I never thought about that. That's definitely what happened. Great band.
Yeah.
Awesome. So like that was mostly you singing, Mark, right? But since as we figured out at the beginning of the interview, all three of you are the lead singer of this band, right? So how when you a lot of your songs, it's all over the place. Which one of you is singing? How do you, when you have a song presented in front of you, split up the singing duties for the different sections of the song?
Yeah, it has changed over the years. When we first started the band, we had a system where it was like I would sing a line, Mark would sing a line, Bob would sing a line, and it just went in a circle.
Okay.
And that's how it always went. And then eventually we'd all sing, and that was the Girth Control method. But it's changed over the years, and I think it just, just sort of we figure it out as we go. If somebody's having trouble with one part, then we have somebody else try it. Yeah, exactly.
I think we did that. I think we did that a lot actually on the album. It'd be like we'd try singing and then be like, I just can't get this part, you do it, and then be like, okay, cool. I think this one there's more of those like Jay sings I hope Girth Control can pay the bills. I sing that song, but there's still most of them we kind of just do like the classic Girth Control round, or each person gets a verse. That's also like a Girth Control method, or like two verses and then someone else does the bridge, and then but there's not really a rhyme or reason to it. It's all just by feel, or
whoever sounds best.
Whoever
doing
sounds
that part. Yeah.
There was like with this album, there was a lot of demoing because like we talked about earlier, a lot of it sort of came to light during COVID, so I couldn't see these dudes, but we were writing songs, and I have sort of a studio in my basement, so I wound up demoing a lot of these songs out, just as I was writing them, and with almost everyone, I could hear like this is a Mark part, or like this is a Bob part. You just have been doing, we've been doing this for so long that like I knew when something would come up, like that's something Mark should be singing. Like those words just match Mark, or like those words match Bob, or this is something I should be singing.
And sometimes too, it'll be like if we don't finish, say like, okay, we have one verse, but we don't have the second verse, we got to, get together and write the lyrics. We'll all like kind of write the lyrics. And it's like, okay, so it's like whoever writes the line, I remember when we were doing Waste of Pizza, I came up with, I was like, I want to say, I draw a line in the Parmesan. It's just not right. And I was like, okay, hit record. and then Bob was like, I want to say, what's the line about? Cheese fries?
Oh, yeah, like jalapeno poppers, mac and cheese
bites.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool, hit record. And then Bob sings that line, jalapeno poppers or mac and cheese bites. And Bob sings that one. So it's also like, yeah, if you come up with the line and it's like, okay, that's your line.
Nice. That makes sense.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah. Okay. You kind of talked about it before. So you've been working on this thing through COVID and stuff. I was listening to an interview from like 2019, and you guys like mentioned this album, and I was like, 2024. Like, what's going on? So when was the first precipice of this album? Like, when did you guys, the initial thought for this kind of album? When did that very beginning start?
Well, we started writing songs, and they were all bad.
Okay.
So we had to go through that. We had like a good few songs that just like we were like, oh my god, can we not do this anymore? Like, so that was probably in like early 2019. I feel like we looked at the
No, it was before that.
2018.
Yeah, it was before that.
I think we've got a couple like of the first recordings from this that wound up on this album are maybe from late 2018, early 2019.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is nuts.
That was like my freshman year of high school.
Yeah. That's nuts. Yeah, man. Time moves a lot faster when you're, you'll find out, dude. You'll find out, man.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil it.
We're not going to spoil it.
Am I peering into my future in front of me right here?
Well, I mean,
it'll happen to you.
When you work on something, it's the way that we've always done things. Is we say we're going to do something, and then we do it. And if it takes however long it takes, we might adjust what it is as time goes on, but like we all agree. That's how all our bands have always gone. We just agree on a thing we're going to do. We do it to the best of our ability, which now that we're like, in our mid 30s and employed, married, things like that. It's like, okay, we get together once a week. So once a week for 3 hours, we're working on this album. And next thing you know, it's like, 4 years has gone by.
Yeah.
Because we have this idea in our head that it's like, no, this has to be, we know what we want this thing to be. We want this thing to be this like you couldn't just take 12 songs off this 25 song album and just put them out. It wouldn't make any sense. It has to be this 25 song thing. So, and then of course, like we had finished it up and we were gonna just press it ourselves on the thick double CD, and then our friend Chris from our band Do It With Malice, and he's the guy who runs it. He was like, I really want to press this thing. So then that pressing vinyl takes forever too. So this thing has been completely done for probably like, I don't know.
It's been done for a year.
It's been done for a year too. So having to like press it and stuff like that also just pushed it out, but we want it right. You know what I mean? We're not going to rush it. That's it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course this is a ska punk album, and I see 3 people in front of me, right? None of which play horns, right? As you said. So
True.
and I did hear horns on the album. So like, who is playing those? And will there be a horn section at your upcoming shows?
Yeah, I don't know. We can. I think we can disclose that information.
Yeah.
So yes, that is Chris and Matt, who were the saxophone and vocalists for Public Access. So they're very old friends of ours, wonderful people. We've played in other bands with Chris, and Matt kind of pops in and out. So they played the horns on the record. They're gonna do at least a song with us at the Albany show. And then in Buffalo, we have sort of a super group coming together to help us out. So I believe we will have a member of Power Up and a member of Do It With Malice playing horns for a song.
Sweet.
So it's exciting.
Yeah.
We don't get to do that very often. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's the first time we've ever had horns played live with us, right? We've never done it, right?
I feel like we might have done one show for the Shorter, Faster, Dumber release. So we had horns for literally like 30 seconds, which is really funny. But
I want to say did Dan Madeline play trombone too for the
Dan played? Yeah, that's true.
The one song, and then I think Chris and Matt came up.
Yeah,
at least Chris.
I think Chris. Yeah,
maybe
Matt,
Kim. Did Kim do it?
Kim,
or was that the
I think
Henry's Rifle show?
Yeah, it was different. Yeah, different show, different band. It all blends together.
That's a lot of guest horn players.
That's a hint. That's a hint. Actually, you're right. Yeah. Shorter, Faster, Dumber has a song with horns on it. So, yeah. There
are other horns.
Isn't there also a piccolo part in that album too?
There is. My girlfriend Meg played the piccolo and the drums. There's like a snare drum on that. And she hates Ben Franklin more than anybody. So it was only appropriate.
We don't get too political, but except for that, we figured 400-year-old beef.
That's long enough in the past. Yeah. I respect it. I respect it. All right, so we'll play another song here, right? So next up we got Dorito Covered World. Has this been played anywhere yet?
This is the first time.
This is a Pick It Up world premiere Girth Control exclusive. So keep it locked here for Dorito Covered World by Girth Control.
Too much party size just ain't enough. I'd huff a trash bag of that stuff. Greasy handprints on the walls, orange footprints down the halls. They got invented Frito-Lay. He said let them enjoy across the land, and the people rejoiced and declared with one voice. Now all we need is a sweet ska punk band. The reddest band. It's a Dorito Covered World. Covered world, good to be alive. Doritos, Doritos, Doritos. I got that need for nacho cheese. I got that cheesy corn chip dust. Dig both arms in plastic bags. Comb my hands in orange dust. Doritos, my coffee cup. Doritos, my guitar string. Doritos, peppermill so I can put Doritos on anything. And on the 7th they got invented Frito-Lay. 'Cause on the 6th he grew weed across the land. Now all the man he's the dream of the DNA. Still stoned with his hands stuck in the bag. It's in the bag. It's a Dorito Covered World. Dorito Covered Sky. Dorito Covered World. It's good to be alive. It's a Dorito Covered World. Dorito Covered Sky. Dorito Covered World. It's good to be alive. Yellow dye number 5. It's good to be alive. Milk cheese culture, so they die. It's good to be alive. Dorito Covered World. Dorito Colored Sky. Dorito Covered World. It's good to be, it's great to be alive.
Awesome.
Wow, world premiere.
World premiere. I love the there's a lot of gang vocals on that where you're all just like shouting about Doritos. I love it.
Yep, that one was a true story. That one was that one was from the heart. That was one of those sincere ones that you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean that leads right into your Dorito World Domination tour that's coming up. Want to talk about some of your upcoming shows? You guys are gonna be quite busy.
Yeah. So we're embarking on the Dorito Covered World Tour, which is Albany and Buffalo. So we have our record release show at Empire Underground, March 1st, which is coming up real fast. We have our friends Do It With Malice and Power Up, previously mentioned, as well as Uncle Frank Says No, who are another great local ska band, joining us for that show. And then we're bringing the Do It With Malice Power Up power combo to Buffalo for the following night at Mohawk Place, and we're playing with a great band from Buffalo called Working Class Stiffs. Then after that weekend, I'd say the tour continues. We're playing in Western Massachusetts the 8th of March and Connecticut the 9th of March. We've got some other stuff coming up in Boston and Syracuse further out in the month. So pretty busy for Girth Control.
Yeah.
I think the 4 shows you mentioned earlier were the only 4 shows we played last year. So this is a world tour for us.
For sure. So yeah, this is the busiest you guys have been. Like this is the craziest month for Girth Control. Right?
Other than when we did a tour, we did like a week where we drove out to Cleveland and went to the I always want to call it the Rock and Roll History Museum because of Tenacious D. It's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we didn't, we just went there, but we played a show out there at a place called Now That's Class. That's
it had a skate park in it. That was a cool show.
That's cool.
But so we did that. Then we did like a week tour years ago. That was like 2016, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, other than that, yeah, I mean, we usually do like, this is the most closely the weekends have fallen. You know, we're trying to get the record out there and play for all the friends that we've made along the years. You know, we started our original goal was just to play in my basement, and then we set the modest goal of playing in the capital region, and now we have our goal of regional ska punk band. That is our goal.
Okay.
That is
I respect that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at now. We're in the regional ska punk phase of our existence, where we shall remain for most likely
Forever.
the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's our circuit. You know, we love Buffalo, Syracuse, and Western Mass, Connecticut. We have a lot of great friends around the Northeast that we love hanging out with and playing shows with. So
Yeah, and we really get to see most of them over the next month, so it's very exciting.
yeah.
Awesome. Does Girth Control ever plan to go international?
I would love to.
Yeah, Canada especially.
Canada, yeah, for sure.
Modest goal of Canada. I think we could do it.
We did get asked to play some like ska and reggae fest in Vancouver,
Okay. Well.
but I mean it's not happening. But
It's really far away.
problem is that we all work, so we got to take vacation time
Yeah.
to go do that, and I want to take regular vacations with my wife.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But we do have our second most listeners. The country. What country is our second most listeners?
Germany.
Germany,
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
But yeah.
so we're hoping to put out we want to do a dance remix of Work Shirts that we hope is going to take Germany by storm, and then we will be ditching ska punk forever.
Yeah.
And moving to Germany.
You need to do like a polka version of all your songs.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Polka. Hey, that's not too
Polka,
bad.
German techno.
We'll
be
do all the
in.
remixes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, I'm looking forward to that now. All right, so we got 15 minutes left here, so we'll that was awesome talking about the new album, right? You know, the tour, that's awesome. We'll post all your guys' stuff and where to find all that kind of stuff for when it's coming out. So I want to ask some more maybe deep cut questions here. So I was when I was looking at a review from your album, Shorter, Faster, Dumber, and they recommended it for fans of The Descendants, Real Big Fish, Beer, and Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
So are there other, any other inspirations or bands that you would add to that list or inspire your sound in general?
That's a pretty perfect list.
Where was that review?
I think that's a Rich Coxedge review.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have, that's the other person we know in a different country is this guy named Rich in the UK who reviews for Razor Cake. And
well, this says
he's a nice guy.
Jeffrey Thunders.
Oh, Jeffrey Thunders.
Oh, okay.
That was a Rich
Connecticut.
review. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connecticut's another country too. So, yeah, Jeff Thunders is a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Margaritas.
Okay.
We've matured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Respectable.
Yeah.
that's part of
Grown up.
the maturing process.
Oh, that was actually one of our band goals for a while, was to get enough band money to buy a Margaritaville blender. So yeah.
So that's what we did.
And
Yep.
we
Goal
achieved
unlocked.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Our first band goal was to buy a Bongzilla 6-person beer bong.
Okay.
Make enough money with the band to buy the beer bong and 340s, and we did that pretty early on. And then so we set the goal of the Margaritaville blender, and then we did that. So that was just features in our album art, because we're very proud.
Of course.
So, as much as beer is one of those influences, margaritas are another one. I would definitely say I always get hyped when I'm listening to the Vandals. I
Okay.
make a lot of connections between the Vandals and their kind of somewhat dark comedy vibes sometimes, where you bring in some of those real things but you make them funny.
Yeah.
I always like that about them, so I try to bring them in.
Yeah, I think the Aquabats are in the mix for me as well.
Love the Aquabats.
It's very important band. And yeah, I mean, I think we touched on it a little bit, but just in general, it's like everything we kind of grew up with, those 3 bands that we started off covering, like that's the well I think I go back to every time. It's like if I'm stuck on something, it's like, let's listen to some Operation Ivy and see what happens. And works every time, gets you out of the rut.
Nice. And
Yep.
if anything to add?
No.
No, okay. Well, if you guys are fans of Saturday Night Live, do you guys have a favorite sketch or member or anything like that, or
SNL, yeah. I grew up a big SNL fan. I haven't kept up with it too much, but when I was a kid, they would play a lot of the reruns on Comedy
Okay.
Central, and my favorite cast was like the late 80s, like Dana Carvey, Chris Farley.
Okay, yeah.
Mike Myers was in the mix. Like it was incredible. Like they had this time where like everybody that wound up being a great comedian was on that show like at the same time.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like Wayne's World is a pretty big
Wayne's World
influence
is huge,
on
definitely.
on us.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like we try to live our life like that. I will say we last time we were in Connecticut, we were at a place called Scottish Dave's, and we stayed close enough that we could all have as much fun as we wanted to at the bar. We ended up back at the motel. We walked back, and on TV it was like 2 a.m, and on TV was Billy Madison, but it had, I've never heard this before. It was like a track. It was almost like it was not subtitles, but for like blind people. So it would like describe.
It was narrated.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was narrated.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like narrating the entire movie, and it was probably the hardest I've laughed in years because we're watching the movie, and then there's someone comes in and is like, what was the thing about the clown? I thought I would never forget it, but they're like, the clown stands up with like the like the blood from his mouth, and this narrator is describing the entire thing. I don't know. It was the funniest thing. So Adam Sandler movies, Wayne's World, and that one night that I think that filled my well for 5 to 10 years. Just that one night seeing Billy Madison in Connecticut was.
Yeah. I think Dumb and Dumber is sort of the, that's sort of the movie that we always kind of come back to. If you actually look at the Matrix, like the dead wax on any of our vinyl, they're all Dumb and Dumber quotes. So if you kind of hold it up to the light, we have
that's our own little
Dumb and Dumber
secret.
quotes
Awesome.
in the vinyl.
So you guys have a song on Shorter, Faster, Dumber called Borders and Personal Boundaries, History of a Boring Lunch, where you tell the story of, I don't know which one of you is referencing.
Yeah, it was
Mark.
Yeah, it was
So
me,
Tell me the story of your boring lunch sitting next to Chris from Less Than Jake.
So for a while, I was playing with a band called Northern Faces, who's a local, more like an indie band, indie alternative band. And we were touring pretty hard there for a little bit. And the coolest thing that, in my opinion, that we did when my time in the band was play Riot Fest.
Okay.
So we played Denver Riot Fests. We were the smallest font in the thing, but you still get to go. And you're hanging out for 3 days. So backstage, full access. It's like it's feels very, very odd because you're like, I'm literally backstage, drinking free drinks and eating free food. And it's like Jack Black is over there or like, I got to stand side stage and watch the Vandals, which was insane. Derek Grant was playing drums from Alkaline Trio. He's one of my favorite drummers. So I got to stand side stage and watch them. And I got to stand side stage for Against Me. It was like totally mind blowing. I was like standing there while the Lawrence Arms were like having a conversation. I was like, what? Like the whole time you're just like, what am I doing? The only person I went out of my way to talk to was Andrew WK. I was like, dude.
Okay.
So, but it just was insane. It was a mind blowing experience. But at one point I went back to the catering and Chris from Less Than Jake was back there alone at a table. And I was like, oh my God, it's Chris from Less Than Jake. And there wasn't like a ton of food back there. So I just, I had like, and I don't eat meat. So there was just like some broccoli. I grabbed like some broccoli and but I was like, man, don't do it, dude. Like, it was just like this weird, like an imposter syndrome type thing. Yeah. Or like, I can't bother this guy, even though we're literally in the same spot, even though I've literally earned the right to be there through years of dedication to music and things, but not being able to shake that feeling of like I don't belong here and I shouldn't bother this guy, even though he probably would have been very nice. And just having just living with that regret for the rest of my life. Like, dude, you were literally could have just said, hey man, all the things I say in the song, hey, I really love your band. And literally the day before we finished up on the one stage and I was like rushed. I was like, I gotta go catch Less Than Jake. And I like put all my stuff away and literally had like a guy golf cart me across the whole thing in Denver to go to see Less Than Jake so I could make it in time, and had like a blast. And there's just like, you could have talked to him. You could have said all those things. He would have been like totally nice and cool. So yeah, that's just, we couldn't come up with a name for it. So so we gave it two names: Borders and Personal Boundaries, History of a Boring Lunch, and the other one was Hello Broccoli. Isn't quite or Hello Broccoli View, but we couldn't decide, so we just nixed that one. But
oh wow, I love that. All right, so this is less of a Girth Control question, but it's very related. So how was the experience of performing all 18 minutes of NoFX's song "The Decline" as a part of Slaughterhouse Chorus?
Oh wow!
Wow.
Were you were one of the 4 people that watched us do that, or
no,
I wasn't there.
Somehow,
but...
yeah.
No, we did it at Ghost of Hardcore.
Yeah, there was. We played first though. We didn't.
I was in the audience.
People. Yeah. Oh, that's right. You weren't in the band yet.
Yeah.
That was
awesome.
That was a really crazy thing to do, but it was very fun.
I remember, when I first listened to The Decline, I think Jeff showed it to me, but in the inside of it was like, don't try and learn this song. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna learn that. I'm gonna try and learn this song so hard. Yeah. It was awesome. It was really awesome. It was honestly really fun. It wasn't as hard as you'd think.
Okay.
As long as you are in your early to mid 20s, you have nothing else to do and you don't care about anything else, and you will just go and practice it for 2 hours a day and just listen to the song nonstop until you feel like you're going to lose your mind. It's not that hard.
Makes sense.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've played that song in the show a couple of times, so listeners are very familiar with that song. So, it's, great stuff. So we'll kick it with one last song here, I guess. Is this also Laughing and Rocking Out, another world premiere? Has that been somewhere else?
No, this is the first time for sure.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm so honored.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
We're gonna hear Laughing and Rocking Out and discuss a little bit afterwards by Girth Control. Keep it locked here on WRPI Troy.
Got the day off and I've been taking bong rips all morning. clean out the shed, but that just sounds so boring. I wanna cut loose, I wanna get live. I never wanna go back to 9 to 5. I never wanna go back to 9 to 5. Can I retire before I turn 35? Laughing and rocking out. Is there really any more that life's about? Ball rips and rock and roll. Partying with my friends and Girth Control. Let's go! Got the night off, so I'm calling up some friends. We're staying up late, writing songs and getting stoned again. I wanna cut loose, I wanna get live, I wanna have fun while I'm alive. I wanna have fun while I'm alive. I might even pass out on the couch tonight. Laughing and rocking out. Is there really any more that life's about? Ball rips and rock and roll. Partying with my friends and Girth Control. Laughing and rocking out. Is there really any more that life's about? Ball rips and rock and roll. Partying with my friends and Girth Control. Let's go! You've been partying with your friends in Girth Control. You've been partying with your friends in Girth Control. You've been partying with your friends in Girth Control. You've been partying with your friends in Girth Control.
Once again, a wonderful song by the band Girth Control. That one I really like because it's what we're talking about before about the goofiness and sincerity. It's like, yeah, we're just rocking out, having fun and laughing. Like it's great. It's, that's what you should strive for, and I just love it. Love it so much. So we're coming down here to the wire, but I have a few rapid fire questions we can pop off here. So. We'll go down the line. We'll go Jay, Mark, Bob, right? Skanking or two-stepping?
Oh, skanking.
Skanking.
Skanking easily.
Okay. So that's what I expected.
Yeah.
Never-ending 40 or never-ending coffee?
I'm in my never-ending coffee phase for sure.
I'm gonna say never ending 40 because if I had never ending coffee, I wouldn't be able to sleep, and that would really bother me.
Never ending 40.
Okay. And then for less than Jake, all my best friends are metalheads or history of a boring town?
I would go metalheads.
I'm gonna say metalheads too.
I'm going boring town. I love that bass lick.
That's fair.
Awesome. So this was so much fun, guys. We were talking a lot earlier about being getting what you were saying, Mark. Experiencing what it's like to start a band when you're young and just getting stoked. So I'll end it here by asking you guys what got you guys stoked in the first place.
It's all of this, man. It's all of it. It's hanging out with nice people and good friends and playing, listening to music that I like. That's it. It's great. Can't beat it.
I love connecting with people, and I love rocking out and laughing and talking about music and having a good time.
Yeah, I don't think anything beats playing music with your buddies on stage and people loving it and singing some words back to you. I mean, it's priceless. Love that.
Awesome. This was so much fun. I'll announce for the first time here that next week we'll be doing a giveaway here on WRPI for tickets for the March 1st Girth Control show, album release show. So keep it locked for that for next Thursday during this show. And that's pretty much it. Does anybody have anything else to say? I think we covered everything.
If you let me talk, I'll just keep talking forever.
That's true.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's been really fun.
No problem. Thank you guys for being here. So keep it locked here on WRPI Troy. Of course, this was Pick It Up, the Homoscom Punk Rock. WRPI Troy with the Mav. Keep it locked. Thank you very much for listening.